Hopefully by now you've had a chance to play some Red Dead Redemption 2 if you haven't been sidetracked by buying fancy waistcoats and being rude to Uncle.
You gonna pass out in your own shit again?
It's the gift that keeps on giving. But Red Dead Redemption 2 is a huge game with an incredible amount to do and a lot of gameplay mechanics that aren't always super obvious or well explained. So let us make it a bit easier for you with these essential, story spoiler-free tips.
You're like a goddamn tick, sucking us dry.
Sorry, one for the road. If you've played through the early part of the game, you'll be acquainted with the Eagle Eye ability, which allows Arthur to track animal trails. It's very much presented as a tool for hunting, which is fine because it does make hunting a whole lot easier. But what you might not have realised is that you can also use Eagle Eye indoors when doing robberies to highlight everything that you can interact with. No more hunting around for food and valuables to nick. Eagle Eye will let you know immediately what you can search and what you can grab, which might make the difference between making a clean getaway and still being there when the law shows up. Also, and this is an absolute lifesaver, if you're looting something that has multiple items in it, like a wardrobe or dresser, you can hold down the search button and Arthur will methodically take everything of value one at a time. He even opens individual drawers without you having to manually select them, which I think we can all agree makes a lot more sense than the way I was doing it before.
Grab anything you think we can use, then meet me out here.
This salted offal is going to taste all the sweeter now. I mean, that's probably not true, but still. Another mechanic introduced as you play is the draw mechanic, in which you gently hold down the right trigger to fill a bar before pulling out your weapon and launching straight into Deadeye. It's generally presented in the game as something useful for duels, but it's worth remembering that the draw mechanic can be used anywhere, at any time. Don't like the way a conversation is going? Things headed towards a fight and you want to get ahead of the game? Just want to intimidate random campers? Just slowly pull the right trigger to fill your bar. The fuller it is before you draw, the longer you'll have to aim once you've drawn.
You're gonna regret aiming that at me.
Yeah, think on that. So yes, always remember that you can draw whenever you want. I mean, except for in camp, obviously, which is pretty lucky for Uncle, let me tell you. In the original Red Dead Redemption, John Marston was able to fast travel wherever he wanted from his campsite. Clearly, campsite technology advanced a lot in the 12 years between Red Dead Redemptions 1 and 2, because Arthur Morgan can't do that. Obviously you can still get around using stagecoaches and trains, but there is a better free fast travel system tucked away in your home camp. Once you've done the mission called Money Lending and Other Sins, you gain access to the Camp Ledger, which allows you to upgrade your camp. One of the options is to upgrade Dutch's lodgings for a hefty $220. Do that and you'll unlock a second option to upgrade Arthur's tent for an even steeper $325. It's worth it though, because that upgrade gives you access to the Fast Travel map, which lets you travel for free to anywhere major you've already visited. And if you're short of the necessary cash and want an easy boost, keep watching after the end of this video for the location of a gold bar worth $500, which will take care of nearly all the cost. Don't mention it. Of course, that doesn't help much when you're out in the wilderness and need to get somewhere, and Red Dead Redemption 2's world is so massive that some of the epic rides you have to go on can start to get tiring, no matter how much beautiful scenery or unsolicited gunfights you come across. However, if you want a more hands-off approach to getting around the place, you can set a waypoint, start riding in the right direction, build up some speed, and then hold the back button to switch to the cinematic camera, and your horse will basically do all the hard work for you. You don't even need to press or hold the A button. The horse will follow the main roads, take turns when it needs to, and generally get itself where you need to be without too much fuss. You will still need to keep an eye on it. Sometimes it gets confused and takes a wrong turn or collides with traffic, but on the whole, this is a pretty reliable way of getting around that allows you to get up and make yourself a cup of tea without having to waste any in-game time. Just set your horse to a gentle canter rather than a full-on gallop if you don't want to exhaust the poor guy. Round here we look after our horses. Take note, Jack Marston, you tiny idiot.
Yeah, you're a strong one, boy.
Now, I know what you're thinking. If I wear a bandana, I can commit literally any crime I like without any fear of repercussions. How are they going to arrest someone when they haven't seen the lower half of their face? It's literally impossible.
Uh-oh.
In actual fact, as you may have discovered in Red Dead Redemption 2, this is not the case. In fact, it seems like it doesn't matter whether you wear the bandana or not, you'll still gain bounties on your head and still be wanted if you're spotted by the law.
If you aim to rob me, I promise it won't end well for you. Mask off.
So that raises the question, what actually is the point of the bandana? Well, according to the official word from the game, wearing a bandana or mask makes it more difficult for eyewitnesses to positively identify you, and if your crimes aren't too bad, wearing a mask followed by losing it and changing your clothes might give you a chance of diffusing the situation during a lawman's interrogation. Basically, the bandana isn't super useful unless you're willing to put in a bit of extra work to try and keep your subterfuge going. You can even help things along further by cutting your hair or shaving your facial hair, but to be honest, when you have a mustache this fine, that's not going to happen. Unlike in Red Dead Redemption 1, the way you kill an animal has an effect on what you get from it. Fill an animal with buckshot and the pelt will be poor, the meat stringy, and you'll get less money and food for your troubles. So you're going to want to try and go for perfect pelts whenever you can. For a start, you can use the binoculars to scope out animals and see what condition their pelt is in. Some animals start out in poor condition, so you're going to want to avoid those. Once you find a pristine one, the lasso is your best friend. Get in close, lasso your prey, and then run in where you'll be given the option to kill them with your hunting knife. This should give you a perfect pelt every time. Of course, this only works on creatures that are the right size, such as deer. For smaller animals, such as rabbits, you're going to want to use small game arrows, which you can craft at a campfire, or the varmint rifle that you can purchase from gunsmiths. One last note, if you're taking a carcass back to camp to feed the gang, you don't need to physically take it off your horse and carry it over to Pearson, the camp cook. Just walk over there, select the donate menu, then scroll to the right to horse cargo, and you can donate the carcass without having to tote it all the way across camp. Let someone else do the hard work for a change.
Good, we really needed this.
Finally, and this is something I definitely forgot you can do, pressing left on the D-pad brings up your log, a handy list of tasks that you have currently assigned to you, item requests from gang members, and potential side missions you could undertake. There's also a Challenges tab showing you what you need to do next in each of the 8 ambient challenges, and a Notifications tab which shows you any notifications you may have missed. That's just a press on the left D-pad, by the way. Holding down left on the D-pad brings up Arthur's journal, which is less useful than the log, but nonetheless worth checking out for Arthur's thoughts on what's going on, as well as some surprisingly competent sketches for someone who spends so much time starting bar fights. Those were 7 tips to give you the edge in Red Dead Redemption 2's Wild West. 8 if you count the fact that, hey, you can jump off roofs and balconies onto your horse.
Okay, fella.
What's your secret to survival on the frontier? Drop your advice in the comments and like and subscribe for more Red Dead Redemption 2 from Outside Xbox. Thanks for watching.